I was horrible at mathematics when I was in high school. I mean horrible. In fact, I was so horrible at math that rather than go to a math class, I would have preferred to put my lips over the hot, flaking exhaust pipe of a school bus and be dragged naked through a cactus patch during a big stampede. How many people feel that way about English? Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. Come on, that's okay. All right. Tristan, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Now, the only reason I picked English is because I was good at it. If you ask me why I'm good at it, I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm good at English. I don't know why I was brain damaged at math, but I was. I just didn't have the ability for it. So I understand what you're going through. My job is to try to make this experience. I mean, obviously, I'm supposed to try to prepare you for college. Colleges, you decide you want to go. My job is to try to prepare you for that. But my job is also not to make this a painful experience. I want to try and make this as enjoyable an experience as I can. Am I going to be successful making this enjoyable all the time? Probably not. Probably not. Because it's going to involve a good deal of work. You know, I like what I do, but do I enjoy every minute that I'm a teacher? Of course not. Because there are things that I have to do that I have difficulty with, like grading essays is very, it's exhausting, it's very time consuming, but it's part of my job and I've accepted it. The thing that I guess I would say for those of you who struggle with English, the key to your success in here is going to be your willingness to communicate with me. So just now, since you were brave enough to raise your hand, I'll talk to you directly, but this goes out to the rest of the class. Let's say we've been working on an essay for a week, and let's say we're already in the middle of the school year, we've been working on this big essay for a week and a half, and it's due tomorrow. When would be the worst time to tell me you're having difficulty with it and can't get it in on time? And when would be the best time to tell me? Let's start with the first one. What would be the worst time to tell me? The day it's due, as I'm collecting it, right? Because if you haven't been able to finish it, then you're probably pretty aware that for the past week and a half we've been working on it, you've been struggling, right? And that's when you need to come to me and go, when would be the best time to come to me? As soon as you can. As soon as you realize that like you've gone off the skids and you need some specific help, to tell Mr. M, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this essay in on time because I'm really struggling with it. Writing is not my thing, and I'm having a really tough time. If you do that, we can sit down and talk, and if we need to extend your due date, we can have that discussion, right? Am I going to extend your due date if you come to me the day it's due as I'm collecting it? No. Now, not everybody wants to communicate with a teacher, right? We've got this huge generation gap. I mean, you guys are what, 15 and 16? I just turned 60. There's a 44-year gap between us. 60, Jesus, I'm as old as my old man used to be. I'm a freaking fossil. So I understand that there's that generation gap. I've got a bald head and I weigh about 240 pounds and I ride a Harley. A lot of people don't want to talk to me because they think I'm going to bite. Right, do I bite? A little. Not too hard. Not too hard. My door is open. If you're having a problem with anything that's going on in this class, you need to tell me. If you look at the course outline, you'll see that my email and my phone number is located in several different places. That's because I'm encouraging you to communicate with me if you're having a problem, if you need some help. All right? Okay, let's look at some of the specifics here. Let's go with Ms. Hodes, if you could read number 1 for us, required class necessities.
A notebook with 5 dividers for vocabulary, spelling, grammar, writing, and literature.
Okay. I'm not going to check your notebook as a graded assignment. This is a recommendation. 75% of all success in high school is your ability to remain organized. I am not a naturally organized person, so I struggle with organization. I have to work hard at it. All right? Other people are very organized. My wife is very, I talked about, you guys who had me last year into this speech, my wife is incredibly organized. You come to my house, it is so neat and it's so clean it looks like nobody lives there. It looks like a museum, right? Before she met me when I was single, like when I was in college, my dorm room, my college roommates used to refer to my dorm room as the hamper. Because it looked like a laundry hamper, because it would clothes everywhere. Because I'm not a naturally organized guy. If you're not naturally organized, it's something that you want to work on. You want to work on it and get good at it. All right? And that's the purpose of number 1. All right, number 2. Ms. Hogan, you can continue.
Writing increments. Black or blue pens get several, so if you lose one, will be known. Number 2 pencils and 4 8.5 by 11 college rule notebook paper.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. This paper that I gave you is 8.5 by 11 inches. Now, the question is always asked, well, Mr. M, how do I know if my notebook paper is the size that you want? Because it is the same size as a piece of computer printer paper. All right? Okay, please continue.
I do not accept torn spiral bound paper. I do not accept 8 by 10.5 paper. If you already purchased some, use it for note taking, but do not use it for work you will submit. I will return it ungraded.
Okay, so I especially do not accept torn, the wire notebooks and you rip it out. I know some of them have perforations and you can tear off that ripped part and make it neat. I don't like that either because that stuff ends up on the floor of my classroom. And I do not like littering. In fact, I'll tell you a little side story about littering. This summer, my wife surprised me with a trip to Cancun. And the last day, we got on the bus, we're headed to the airport, and she said, you know, I got to tell you something. I said, what? She was real serious. I was going to tell you this before the bus left, and I decided I better not. I said, what's going on? You know that really morbidly obese guy that was there with his wife and his kids? They just arrived today. And I said, yeah. They were down by the water's edge. Yeah. Remember they had a little baby? Yeah. Well, the baby started to cry, and so the mother put out a towel and she changed the baby's diaper. She gave the diaper, rolled it up and gave the diaper to the father. You know what he did? I said, what? He dug a hole in the beach and he buried the diaper on the beach. I said, he did what? She said, that's why I didn't tell you while we were still there, because I was afraid you'd go and light the guy up. I don't like littering, all right? I got a real thing about littering. So, and that's one of the, see that right there? I don't know where that came from, but that was not there when class started. So somebody better do me a solid and get that picked up and thrown away before you leave. Otherwise, bang, zoom. Let's see, where was I? So yeah, 8.5 by 11 inch college ruled paper. Now the reason for that, the reason that I want this specific size paper, twofold. First, this is a college prep class. This is what will be expected by your professors when you get to college. Secondly, it's about following directions. Part of your success in here is going to be predicated on your ability to follow directions. And if you can't follow a direction that is simple as this, how are you supposed to follow directions for some of the more difficult lessons we're going to be working on? All right? Okay, let's go to, please can finish off number 2 for us, Derek.
This is a college prep class, and you must conduct yourself accordingly. I do not accept torn spiral bound notebook paper.
Notice I put that down twice, right?
I do use 5% extra credit for all the work assignments that you type, except for formal essays, which list all of you type.
Yeah, so for example, if you, I give you some literature questions, 5 literature questions for homework, and you type those answers, I'll flow you an extra 5% to your score, because that makes my life easier. Okay? All right, let's go to Ms. Johnson. If you could read tips to make life a bit easier.
Come to class prepared. Pack up your school materials the night before. Books, notebook paper, pens, and pencils. Get to class on time. Consult the student handbook policy for attendance. I insist that you arrive to class on time. If you are having difficulty with this requirement, see me immediately.
Yeah, period 2 on Fridays is typically a class that kids will come to late, which to me doesn't make any sense since we have an 8:30 start. But if you're habitually late to class, that's going to have an effect on your grade. All right, so you want to try to get here on time. All right, let's go to class policies. My grading policy. Let's try Mr. Mehegan.
My grading policy is simplicity itself. All assignments are graded on a basis of 0% to 100%. Zeros are evil. Don't get them. Does not take very many zeros to morally wound an otherwise healthy grade. Work hard and complete your assignments.
Mr. Meter, why do you figure I put that in bold?
Because it's important.
It's important, yeah. Zeros will crush a grade. 5, 6 zeros, that's all it's going to take to cause an F, no matter what else you do the rest of the semester, all right? If you have an assignment that you can't get in on time, get a late grade. Late grade is better than no grade. Okay, I cannot emphasize this enough. All right, please continue.
There will be periodic quizzes to check that you have completed your required reading. They may be unannounced. There will be tests that cover more material. They will be announced beforehand.
Okay, thank you. And then Ms. Paul, if you could read my policy for late work.
I not only allow late work, I expect you to turn it in. Just because you didn't turn it in on time does not let you off the hook. After all, if your parents do not turn in their tax return on time, it's not as though Uncle Sam lets them off the hook. They still have to submit their tax return, although they will suffer some penalties as you will.
Okay, I'm going to read this next section. Late work will receive a 50% deduction. 50% right off the top. And then I start grading it. All right? So any additional deductions for mistakes or errors or any other deductions will be on top of that 50%. Unless, of course, there's you're ill or you have some sort of family emergency, and then it's 10% each day thereaafter. Only after late deduction has been applied will then begin to score your late work. If your late work is not submitted by the end of the week following the week the assignment is due, it may not be made up. That last portion is more if you're out ill. If you're out ill, can you make up an assignment and get full credit for it? Yes. Of course you can. Of course you can, yeah. But you don't have all semester to make it up. In fact, if you look up here, this is from last year. All makeup work due by June 6th, no exceptions. I had kids come in to me June 7th. Mr. M, can I turn in makeup work? I just went like this. Okay. So let's say, Mr. Mayo, let's say you had an assignment that was due today, but you couldn't turn in because you were absent, right? Let's say you're absent for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Of course, what's one of the things that happens when you're absent for multiple days that makes your life more difficult?
Probably sick.
Yeah, well, but I mean, in terms of the amount of work, what happens to you if you're sick for 3
You
days?
feel like you have too much work.
It builds up from all your classes, right? When you have 5, 6 academic classes,
Yeah.
you get 3 days worth of homework. It's a nightmare, right? So that's when you need to come to talk to me again. Say, Mr. M, I got 3 days worth of homework. I'm just buried. Plus, I've got to stay current with the work that I'm getting now that I'm back. Can I have a little extended time to do this assignment? What am I going to say?
Yes.
Of course, right? Of course. If you're absent 1 day or 2 days, I'm going to probably say I expect those assignments by the end of next week. And if you're having difficulty getting those to me by the end of next week, what do you need to do?
Talk to me.
Come talk to me, right? Let's go with Ms. Steinhoff. If you could just read those bullets, starting with do not mail me assignments.
Do not email me assignments unless by prior agreement.
Okay, don't email me your work. I've got a limited amount of paper, I've got a limited amount of ink in my printer, unless, of course, we have had some sort of discussion ahead of time. So, Mr. M, my printer's broken, may I email you this assignment? And if we've had that discussion, I'll probably say yes, but don't just email me out quickly, right?
If you suffer from a non-functioning computer or printer, you may use our equipment at school or problem solve in some other manner that works for you. However, you may not print out an assignment during class, come in before class to print, or use email. Work not printed, not stable, not ready to be collected when the instructor requests it will be considered late.
Okay, if you look up at our pride poster up there, the first one is problem solving. My printer broke is the dog ate my homework of the new millennium. Okay? Mr. M, I couldn't do my homework, my printer broke. What do you think my response is going to be? Let's say your printer actually did break. Ms. Steinhoff, what's my response to that going to be?
Solve it yourself and try to come to school early that day.
Hold on a second, girlfriend. What do you like, milk chocolate or dark chocolate? Yeah. Now, you can come to my class before class starts and use my printer 100%. Use my stapler? Absolutely. If I'm not here, you can try Hendrickson. If he's not there, you can try the library. The library's closed. Start knocking on doors. I got to use your printer. I got my thumb drive. Can I use a computer? Can I use a printer? I got a thing going for Mehegan. The other one that I like is, oh, Mr. Mehegan, my ink cartridge ran out. My response is, and that's when you went to the bullpen and put in the backup. And then I get a blank book. Okay? So it's about problem solving. High school is all about problem solving. That's kind of where this whole business about organization comes in. Organization and problem solving are interconnected with one another. And I'll tell you something else. Problem solving is as learned a skill as anything you'll be doing with grammar or literature or writing. Problem solving is a learned skill. It's not something we just automatically have. It's something we have to work on. I would considering saving all your work to your email. Coming and saying, Mr. M, I was going to turn in that essay, but my computer crashed. Computers perform a lot of functions. Guess what function every single computer will eventually fulfill? Every single computer will eventually break, crash. A hard drive will crash and lose your. What do you do about, Ms. Russell, what do you do about preventing losing all your work from crashing hard drives?
Save it on files and hard drive.
External, I have an external hard drive myself. I had my laptop crashed over the summer. I lost about 3 days worth of work, which wasn't that big a deal considering I've been here 15 years. I got 15 years worth of curriculum on my laptop. If I lost all 15 years of that, that'd be a disaster, right? So you back up your work to your email. I like backing up essays to email because then you can come to my class and even if you couldn't print it out at home, you can open it up on one of these computers and you can print it out. Okay? So it's all about problem solving.